Alf, it's happening. It happened. The most expensive action figure of all time, collectibles friends, has sold at Heritage Auctions. This one kind of gets you in the feels a little bit. You might not be that shocked. It's Star Wars. It's a Boba Fett prototype action figure. But like with all this stuff, you, me, 80s, 90s nostalgia stuff. This one actually late 70s, but frankly, we kind of pull in that late 70s Star Wars stuff into the 80s, 90s nostalgia because it just carried on. We all know there wasn't many bright spots in pop culture from the 1970s. I'm going to get smacked for that one. But here we are. So we have got a Heritage Auction sale, $525,000 for one of the most rare / scarce action figures, loose, not in the box. And you're wondering, my God, it's not in the box? It was never in a box. It was never in a box because it was a prototype action figure that never made it out to the public for good reason. If you're like you and me, you collected these Star Wars figures going back to the 80s, and they were all over the place. Kenner, man, when they committed. They absolutely did. I think the story goes as, the Star Wars folks, they went to Mattel, and Mattel was like, get out of here, losers. We're not interested in your stupid Star Wars figures, or maybe they couldn't make them in time or something. And Kenner, the toy company that was not doing so great, was like, you know what? Screw it. We're going all in on Star Wars, and man, has it paid off. And believe it or not, there's people that actually kept those things in the box going back 45 years now, 45 plus years, and you see them all over the place at auction. The Luke Skywalker, the Darth Vader, some of the rare variants and that sort of thing, they sell for huge, huge money. Just the foresight for a lot of this stuff. Sealed video games sell for a lot of money because who the hell kept them sealed? They were made to be played with or played, right? But people did it. Believe it or not, some people did, and now reaping the rewards. Here we are. This type of action figure was something, this is an interesting story. Collect.com did a story on this, where they're talking about how a lot of these prototypes, these handful, 10, 20, 30 of these prototypes, it was basically like in a box for employees to take, because these are duds. You can take these. And now one sold today for $500,000. The last sale for this similar type figure, June of 2022, for $236,000. Still a huge sale, but man, $525K, the rocket-firing Boba Fett prototype. From production due to safety concerns, but some of them made it out the back door. Basically, this thing, it was like the rocket shooter, but they didn't have a way, the L-shot variant did not have a way to stop the rocket from firing off accidentally. You'll shoot your eye out with this thing. And so they had to pull it, the L-shot variant. One of 5 hand-painted L-shot variants and one of 2 production paint scheme example. So man, if you really get into the nitty gritty of this thing, this is like the rare variant of all rare variants of Star Wars prototype toys. And again, we just go back to, it just shows you the wicked nostalgia and who the hell knew that Star Wars was going to turn into what it did. Even if you go back to the success of the original movies, the original trilogy, 4, 5, 6, it was 20 years between those movies and the next round of movies that came out in 99, 2000, early 2000s, where George Lucas brought out 1, 2, and 3. It's just crazy where it's all gone. And then of course Disney buys the Star Wars brand, and now they're gonna churn out all sorts of different content. So much Star Wars content over the years. What was once just a great sci-fi movie with cool special effects going back to the late 70s is now a global phenomenon, and a lot of these collectibles, and especially once you get into the really historical stuff. And I think for an item like this, if you're a high-end buyer, I know there's a lot of people that are going to say, how does this happen? How does someone spend $500,000 on something like this? And for one, if you're in the collectible space, you know that the high-end buyers want the absolute best of the best of the best. If they're going to spend big money, they want to make sure that it's something that is extremely rare, kind of like art pieces. When art buyers are going out, they want the one of one, they want the rare thing, they want something that other people can't have, and they will pay up for that thing. And again, we look at the IP, Star Wars IP, and it's just ballooned out and grown out to this massive massive thing. And so the person that bought this is really collecting the history of the franchise, the history of the Star Wars saga, the origin stories. Really, when you go back to 1978, 1979, when Kenner was trying to put these action figures out, I mean, these might be some of the most iconic action figures ever created in the history of America. You know, you've got G.I. Joe, you've got Star Wars, but you've got very few IPs where you had action figures that were produced and bought on a mass scale that were this popular. And then, of course, seeing the franchise move forward, even with G.I. Joe. Of course, G.I. Joe is such a classic, but it doesn't have that movie series, the show series that Disney is now carrying on, at least yet. At least yet. We'll see what happens, but it's incredible to see where this is coming, and it's really cool to see people really value the rarity, the absolute insane rarity from these action figures that have become larger than life. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you bid on this thing like I did? Did you win like I did? I'm just kidding. I didn't win this. I didn't win it. I'm not even close, not even in the same galaxy. Far, far away. Dad jokes. God, get better. Get better. All right, friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.